Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? We're back. Another episode of Make the Right Play. Little different today. No coach next to me. No Yabui. There we go. The coach is here. The coach is here. I'm so glad you decided to join us today, Coach. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
This is for you, honey, in case you want
thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, what's going on? Monday night edition of Make the Right Play. It's so good to see you guys. Tons of stuff to talk to you guys about today. Coach comes to me this morning. She calls me. I'm on the toilet bowl. And she's like, we got to have an emergency show. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to, start my day off on the right foot. And, trying to go to the bathroom. And she's like, we got to do an emergency show right now. Get it going. Text Yabui. We text Yabui. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Yabui tonight. We missed Yabui. As you guys know, bear with me. I'm playing. I have multiple hats on. But, no Yabui tonight. But, hey, listen, we're still going to have a great show. I got the coach on my left. As always, we got Jesus in the picture. We had to start a little bit late. Coach had to get a prayer in at 6 o'clock. So, Coach, emergency show. You were so fired up this morning. I heard you yelling. I heard you fired up. What's going on? What happened that you're so fired up that we had to get all of our wonderful viewers on a Monday night to talk? What's going on?
Okay, I'm going to show you before I even got out of bed, because I sent you and your brother and your father a picture of it. Yes. Let's show a picture that really upset me this morning.
That surfaced out this morning. All right, let's take a look at this photo that got Coach so fired up we had to do an emergency show. So this comes out this morning, bright and early. And Coach, what's your thought looking at that picture as I make it a little smaller so you can get in the frame here?
I'm looking at it.
Yep.
And one thing that I noticed, exactly right where you had the little hand.
Yep.
I said, what is that thing? Make it bigger just so we can show people what I'm talking about.
I'm making it bigger.
But what is that thing in the middle?
Right above his head, you're saying?
Above his head.
Yeah, they can't see my cursor, but it's right above his head, kind of a little bit towards the left when you're looking at the photo, or to your right.
We should make it gigantic.
Make it gigantic?
Even just don't even show us for a second, just to show the thing in the middle. What is that in the middle? What is that with the horns? I said, is that like the Statue of Liberty?
That's what I thought, but the Statue of Liberty is right next to him on the bottom there.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
I'm like, that looks like a demon. Honestly,
a demon,
that
Coach.
looks like a demon over Trump's shoulder. And the man sick in bed looks like Epstein a little bit.
It does kind of look like Epstein.
All right, so we can make it smaller again.
Okay, you ready to make it smaller?
Yes.
All right, we're going to make it smaller.
So then, well, that is one thing that just really, I was like.
That got you fired up.
I said, this is so blasphemous. Honestly, like, what the hell is, listen, last week, all right, this is what I honestly believe.
Let's saddle up. Let's get you reeled back in here. You're all over the place.
Well, we have to start from the top.
All right, so let's start from the top.
I honestly believe that Trump started to become completely unglued, derailed, whatever you want to call it,
right,
with the Epstein files. I really believe that.
The Epstein files kind of spun him out, and now he's all over the place.
Right.
Okay.
Like he just was like, it's a hoax. Don't look at it. It's absolute lie. Like, I think that's when things started to go off the rails for Trump.
Okay.
Then, lucky for him, Savannah Guthrie's mother gets kidnapped 2 days after the files.
Very conveniently gets kidnapped.
Her husband worked for, or his new publicity company was actually financed by Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. These people, it's so disgusting, right? So things start coming out, despite Trump and the DOJ doing as much as they can. There are people who were on the internet, with the help of AI, ironically enough, who were able to really dig into these files and start to expose things that are absolutely hideous. Unspeakable crimes that I couldn't even believe. And then I went to church one day, and I'm praying, And I start reading the Psalms, and what comes up?
Yeah.
It's a psalm about King Solomon, how they sacrifice their sons and daughters to demons. So that's when it hits me. I'm like, this has been going on since the beginning of time. This is a satanic cult. This isn't just, I'm sorry to say, it's a lot worse than anybody could ever really imagine, some of the crimes that are being committed, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So people get tired of season 7 with Savannah Guthrie's mother's missing. Like, it was just absurd. People could care less after 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, it got a little egregious. I mean, it was the front page of the New York Post every time you opened up.
You couldn't turn on the news.
Yeah.
You couldn't put on the news.
That's all they cared about.
It was all Savannah Guthrie, Savannah. By 2 weeks, people start getting tired of it. Anyway, to make a long story short, we get into this war with Iran.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Epic Fury.
a lot of people feel that the reason why we got into the war with Iran was to distract us from Epstein. I wasn't going to be distracted. And I actually, I had to go to DC because I had to protest, because I said, listen, people need to be questioned and there need to be arrests, because this is disgusting.
Agreed.
Okay?
Yeah, you did.
It's all a hoax. Nobody cares about Epstein. Nobody cares, right? Last Friday, out of nowhere, somebody held, was it Thursday?
It was Thursday. If you're referring to it,
Melania's speech,
Thursday.
It was Thursday?
It was right before we went to the gala for St. Vincent de Paul.
Okay.
Thursday.
All right, so it was Thursday, forgive me.
Yep.
So last Thursday, yes, you're right, so it was Thursday. So last Thursday, Melania has a press conference, and you're listening to it, and some of the things, some of the key points, because we're not going to have you listen to the whole thing because it was 6 minutes long.
Right. It was a long press conference.
One of the things she goes, I've never been friends with Epstein. They just traveled. They were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, overlapping in the social circles common in New York City and Palm Beach, right? To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. I am not Epstein's victim. She was probably an accomplice, but no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just making a joke. But the point is, this is the first lady, right?
Right.
But this is when I was like, holy smoke. Play the clip of what really piqued my interest of her speech.
What got you really fired up?
Well, just let's play it.
All right, let's play it.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony.
Power of sworn testimony, Coach, in front of Congress.
Carlos, this is what got me. Epstein was not alone. Epstein was not alone.
Came right out and said it.
Okay, it's a hoax. None of this is true. Kash Patel goes and testifies. The only person Epstein trafficked people to himself was himself, Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell, I guess she trafficked only people to Epstein too. Everything was a lie, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing to see here.
Right.
The first lady just contradicted the president of the United States and clearly said Epstein was not alone. Okay?
True.
So it is time that we start having arrests in this country, because Prince Andrew was arrested in the UK. Medelson was arrested. There are people getting arrested all over France. This is BS. So what I think is it made Trump crazy again. Because he can insult everybody. He can make fun of people. He can, put out insulting tweets. He ain't doing it for Melania, because Melania knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
Okay?
Agreed.
So there were no tweets put out there by Trump. So who does he go after? Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and Megyn Kelly, which Megyn Kelly, I don't know. I think she's a bit of a BS artist.
You hate Megyn Kelly.
I'm not a big fan, but I will tell you that Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens, they got strays. They caught strays because Donald Trump was so pissed at Melania because he wants everybody to think that there's nothing to see there. And the First Lady of the United States had a press conference and said Epstein was not alone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Came right out and said it. Very true.
So it has made Trump a mental patient.
Yeah, I would agree.
It has made him crazy.
Absolutely.
So this man is already unhinged, honestly. I don't recognize him. I do not recognize Donald Trump. So this happens over the weekend. And then, of course, instead of Marco Rubio going with J.D. Vance to try to work on a peace deal, he's at the MMA fight with Donald Trump, partying it up in Florida. And Trump's son-in-law goes with J.D. Vance and tries to broker the Mideast peace deal. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine in all my years, because I'm older than you are, I can't imagine the Secretary of State going to a game and the son-in-law or the daughter-in-law or a relative going in place of the Secretary of State to go and broker a Mideast peace deal.
Yeah.
It's absolute insanity. It is insanity.
Yep.
So, thus, this morning, I wake up. I go, just to check out. At first, I start my day with a prayer.
Always?
Oh, well, and let me tell you, Father Chad Reppinger, I don't know. I know I'm saying his last name wrong. But he recommends praying the Angelus 3 times a day. He says do it at 6 a.m., at noon, and 6 p.m.
Yep.
So I set my alarm. I do the Angelus. I go, all right, let me check the social media, and I see that demonic picture with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, then I see a tweet later on in the day, show the original picture, and somebody in his staff actually changed the image to put that demon behind his shoulder.
Let's take a look at the original.
Yep, we have to just move it down.
I'm looking. Yep. Oh, hold on.
Look.
There's
the original.
So
you see, it looks like 3 shoulders are behind, or a couple of soldiers.
Yeah, it looks like soldiers.
I know, I said shoulders.
No.
Soldiers, sorry.
Definitely so. Yep.
What is that thing in the middle?
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I mean, you have the wings too on some of the soldiers in the background in the original photo, and then the wings are also gone in the one that he posted here.
Well, it's just. Listen.
You see other wings in the background there? Like right up top, you see that? Angel wings?
Yeah, you're right.
And then they're also gone here.
I guess for the soldiers who died. I guess that's supposed to represent the fallen soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Listen, it's so horrible. It is so blasphemous. This man is being brainwashed by these crazy people. That Paula lady... Paula White.
Spiritual advisor.
Yeah, she's not helping.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm upset about this.
You're fired up.
Then... I see the Truth Social that he attacks the Pope.
Yeah.
And says the reason why the Catholic Church picked that Pope was because they needed another American.
Yeah.
For Trump.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, I remember the day the Pope was picked. It was right before Mother's Day. My husband and my son Presley took me to the jewelry store. They said, Mom, we want you to pick something out for Mother's Day. We don't want to go buy something and then you might not like it.
Right.
And I'll never forget, I was kind of looking for a bracelet because I love bracelets. And then I see a medal of St. Christopher carrying Jesus, the child Jesus. So he's not like a little tiny baby, but he's like maybe a toddler, 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I go, wow, that's beautiful. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is really nice. And all of a sudden Presley says, Mom, they picked the Pope. I start crying. I'm sure the salesperson
right in the jewelry store.
Right in the jewelry store. I'm crying tears of joy because and he's like, it's an American. We all start crying, like tears of joy. We're so excited about an American Pope. We're thinking this is so exciting. I was so optimistic about the country this year. I thought the 250th anniversary of the
a lot of people were.
of the United States was going to be so exciting that the whole year would be, getting our economy on track, no foreign wars, accountability for the evil people who have been operating in the shadows.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought it was going to be such a magnificent year.
A lot of people did.
And it's turning into a disaster. So I'm like, I can't believe this man. He is such like a narcissist.
Yeah.
Like, what would you call it?
Narcissist
Like,
is a good word.
Everything revolves around him.
Yeah, it does all work.
Even the fact, even the Catholic Church choose, like, Trump, you're going to be gone.
I know.
What do you have to do? Like, so, all right, I drop Olivia off. I go to church. Mm-hmm. And then.
What happens at church?
Well, the priest brings it up. And he said, the president crossed the line with this image. Like, he crossed the line. I start crying and feeling so much shame because I can't believe how hardcore I supported Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And now he's literally attacking my church, attacking my religion. He is. He's attacking my religion. And I'm praying on it and I'm like, God, why is this happening? And I really feel it's because if you're praying and you're going to church and you're living your life, you are getting the discernment you need to not be fooled by any of these people, be it Republican or Democrat. Like, you're starting to see how demonic this country and this world really is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and I understand, that it's more than two parties, and it's the country as a whole is in such a bad spot, and it is such a shame because for a long time we were very strong on the president and that this was the route to go, and we told everybody who would listen this is the route to go, and we can't continue down the path that we were down, and it really has just been a complete 180. And I've said this many times. There's such a clear difference between first term Trump and this Trump. Like, there's such a clear difference. Like, between his mannerisms, the way he behaves, the way he, carries himself, conducts himself, the way he goes out people. Like, it's very, he would fire off a tweet once in a while, but it wasn't to this extent. Like, he writes novels attacking people. I mean, that tweet that he wrote about Alex Jones and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens, and like the way he wrote that, like that was like a full page. He wrote a full page shitting on these people. And now he's fighting with the Pope, and the Pope is doing what he's supposed to do, right? He's preaching the gospel. He's saying, listen, you have to think about the innocent lives that are being lost in this war. We're blessed are the peacemakers. We have to have peace. Now,
Trump used to say, blessed are the peacemakers.
He did used to say that.
When he first became president and was trying to, put an end to the war with Ukraine and Russia and all the, he was like, blessed are the peacemakers. Even Donald Trump said that. Yeah. I remember last year, Donald Trump sent out a tweet of St. Michael the Archangel prayer.
He did. Yes, he did. He did send that out.
It's like, why would he send out a St. Michael the Archangel prayer if he's anti-Catholicism all of a sudden, and he doesn't believe in heaven, and if he doesn't believe in the supernatural powers that are out there?
Yeah.
This man is completely baffling to me right now.
Yeah, he's baffling to a lot of people, I would say. I mean, there's a lot of people who are just going to blindly follow the president. And, it's both sides. It happens on both sides. But I think, the real thing is that the people who have head on their shoulders, Ed could think, and I see the comment. I know, Potter, I see it. Nobody cares about the WNBA, brother. Sorry to be that guy. I'll make the right play.
My daughter Olivia does.
Nobody cares. But right now we're in such a spot where people need to start coming together. The way that they're doing in Ireland right now, where they're saying, you know what, we're not happy about the way things are going. We have to come together and unite as a country. And that's what we need to do. Whether you're on the left or you're on the right, we have to come together because, I mean, what's happening, our president's doing right now in entering in foreign wars after we said, no foreign wars. He continues to get us involved. And then, the gas prices are going to continue to go up. He put a naval blockade in at the Strait of Hormuz.
It's so
crazy.
crazy.
We had a ceasefire for what, 48 hours, if that? It's like you were just done after 10 hours? I'm sorry, but I know what they said. J.D. Vance went over there to negotiate for what, 10 hours? That's one workday.
Well,
that's one workday. You had one workday to negotiate, and then now it's just like, F this, we're done? I mean, I don't know, guys. It just, to me, it seems that there's so much more at play here, that obviously there's so many other factors that they're not telling us, that there's just so much behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Well, why don't we show video number 21? Because apparently the Trump administration has started bullying the Vatican even before. Like, it's almost like as if Trump is like, you better get in line.
Right.
And whoever doesn't get in line, I'm going to bury you.
You're out. I'm going to truth social you.
Yeah, so let's go to video 21.
All right.
Not a pundit. So the distinction is he's not going to pronounce on everything, but he's going to pronounce on what's important.
War is back in vogue.
He started in January with a speech criticizing U.S. military action in Venezuela. After that, the Vatican's ambassador in the U.S. was called to the Pentagon for a meeting, which two church officials described to 60 Minutes as unpleasant and contentious. Both the Pentagon and the Vatican have said since in multiple statements that it was routine and provided an opportunity for an exchange of ideas.
Routine visit. And now, forgive me, but I don't remember the Vatican. I mean, the Pope would do his yearly visit where he'd come and hang out with Joe Biden or come and hang out with Obama.
No.
He even hung out with Trump. He would come and visit.
The president would go to the Vatican.
No, I remember Pope Francis coming to the United States a couple times.
Maybe one time. I don't remember that.
He came a couple times,
I remember
think,
him
to
going
the US.
and hanging out. I remember when like Obama went to go visit Pope Francis, and because what I always remember is the wives always dress all in black and they wear that veil.
Oh, the veil.
And they're very dramatic about it.
Yes.
But I do
the veil is
remember
very performative.
Pope Francis smiling with the Obamas and frowning when he met Trump and Melania. He was like,
well, I think that meeting with Trump and Melania, I'm telling you, there was a meeting with Trump and Melania in the White House. I remember it. And then the last time the U.S. dealt with the Pope, J.D. Vance shook hands with Pope Francis and then killed him.
Well, that's the rumor that the Pope died the day after
Died the day after shaking hands with J.D. He died off.
I'm pretty sure you're mistaken, honey, but I'm going to say, did Pope Francis
visit the White House with Trump? I'm telling you, I remember first term. What does it say?
Yes, Pope Francis visited the White House on September 23rd, 2015.
Okay, so that was Obama.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
maybe Obama.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that, let's go to video 25, because Pope Leo, Trump doesn't get to tell him what time it is. Like, there is a higher power.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
There's a better way to do this, Coach.
And he's 100% right. Because, people are using messages in the Bible to warp reality, like Paula White. Let's be honest.
Like Paula White is right.
Right? Like Paula White.
Fake churcher.
Well, what else I found very interesting is that, let's go to number 9. This I couldn't believe. I said, wait a minute. This is what they're doing in the Protestant church?
The Protestant church? All right, let's take a look.
strange.
Now that's the Israeli national anthem.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, because it could be, you guys could be like, what the hell are they even doing? That's the Israeli national anthem that they're singing at the Protestant church at service. I mean,
that's weird.
It is weird. It totally is weird. Why are you singing a country's national anthem at a church service? I mean, we don't even sing, the Star Spangled Banner on the 4th of July. You don't see them doing that stuff. But we're going to sing the Israeli national anthem at a Protestant church service? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, that's weird.
Let me ask you, did you clip the video with the man explaining the Catholic Church? That he goes...
I had a clip of it, but it was it's too long.
Well,
it's like 5 minutes long.
We could have cut it, but one of the things that he says, he goes, when you go to the Catholic Church, the only thing they're singing for is Jesus.
That is, well, they don't really sing in the Catholic Church, honestly.
That's a lie.
They do like Gregorian
they sing.
Yeah, the music's terrible at the Catholic
That's
Church.
not true.
It's
Your
so
brother
true.
sang it. It was
so
wonderful.
True. It's terrible. It's
oh gosh,
awful.
Carlos is out of his mind. Some of the music,
true.
let me tell you, you go to Orlando, and the people who work at Disney, they bring it in the Catholic churches in Orlando, and
I don't
they
know.
sing fantastic.
Well, I guess I just haven't seen it, but as far compared to the performative other churches that I've seen, the Catholic Church music is pretty ass.
I wanted him to explain some of the Catholic Church. That's why I sent you that clip. So if you're not going to use a clip that I sang, then I could explain why I thought that clip was important, because I wanted him, not us, explaining how things go in the Catholic Church. I wanted an impartial third party explaining the difference.
Coach,
when you go to the Catholic
listen,
Church.
I love you, Coach, but nobody gives a fuck about what's going on.
That's
That's the truth. I mean,
No.
come on, what are we fucking talking about here? I have
Don't
35
use the F
clips.
word.
We have
Don't
35
use the
clips.
F word when
We don't
you're
need
speaking
somebody
to me.
else
Don't use the F
explaining
word when you're
the Catholic
speaking with
Church
me.
to
I'm
us.
sorry.
Like, enough is
You
enough.
do not have to use the F word when
That's
you're
ridiculous.
speaking with me, okay? And that was a funny clip, and it would have been good.
It really wasn't. It was
Well,
not that funny.
I don't
And it
know.
was so
I thought a
long.
lot of people liked
It's like,
that
come
clip.
on. Like, let give it a rest. We have 35 here.
Well,
On a Monday show, we have 35 clips.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, so the whole point is that the Pope is under a lot of stress right now. Donald Trump is under a lot of stress right now. The whole world is under a lot of stress right now. Things are not good. And I remember when I was growing up, George H.W. Bush, who it turns out he might be a satanic worshiper too, I don't know, allegedly in some of the things that I've seen and heard according to the Epstein files, because apparently they all have to go through this initiation process. God only knows what happens in Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
But he always talked about like the United States being a light in the world. Like we were supposed to give out like 1,000 points of light. And right now, we're only giving off a lot of negative energy. But let's go to video number 26 and see what Pope Leo said today.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. The message of the gospel is very clear. Blessed are the peacemakers. I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel, of inviting all people to look for ways of building bridges for peace and reconciliation, of looking for ways to avoid war anytime that's possible. To put my message on the same plane as what the president has attempted to do here, I think is not understanding what the message of the gospel is. And I'm sorry to hear that, but
I agree. He isn't understanding what the message of the gospel is. That's 100% true. And I think that, we're at a time now where you have to stop the fighting and realize that we have to create peace in the Middle East, right? That's been like a thing that we've talked about forever, is having peace in the Middle East. And continuing to blow up countries and allowing Israel to blow up countries, it's only going to create more of a problem. Like, that's what it's going to do.
Let's go to video number 19.
Let's go to video number 19. Okay.
Cardinal Cupich not only takes issue with the war, but also what he calls the gamification of how the White House has portrayed it on social media.
Flawless victory. We're dehumanizing the victims of war by turning the suffering of people and the killing of children and our own soldiers into entertainment.
You called it sickening.
It is sickening. To splice together movie cuts with actual bombing and targeting of people for the purposes of entertainment is sickening. This is not who we are. We're better than this.
This is not who we are. We're better than this. And I got to say, that's war porn right there. When people are going to the internet and to just watch bombs being dropped on people's heads, that's war porn. And that's disgusting, in my opinion. And that is only going to lead us down a path of evil, negativity. And the thing is I bet you anything, Donald Trump saw that. Now I'm thinking out loud. I bet you anything he saw that 60 Minutes show and it triggered him. And that's why he sent out a picture of him being Jesus Christ. Because 60 Minutes, isn't that on Sunday nights?
That is on Sunday night, yeah.
Right? So the chances are that Donald Trump is watching that video and he's like, how dare the Catholic Church say that I can't have war porn if I feel like having war porn? I think it's cool. Screw the Pope and screw the Catholic Church. How much you want to bet? Now, thinking out loud, I bet you anything that's what happened. He was watching 60 Minutes and he got triggered. The same way he got triggered by Melania. The man gets triggered all the time. That guy is going to be so triggered, one day he's going to throw an atomic bomb. I'm telling you, that is the thing I am afraid of the most, is that he's going to lose it, he's going to get pissed off at Iran, and he's going to be like, screw it. All these evil people surrounding me in the White House think I should use an atomic bomb. Mark Levin said, use 2 atomic bombs, use 2. And this is, I'm telling you, this is so dangerous right now. And if you're praying, you are getting the discernment and you are saying things are not right. Things are not right now. And you have got to get away from the cult of personality and forget about this politician or that politician and realize there's only one person that matters, and that is Jesus Christ. And we have got to turn our hearts and minds over to him more than one time a week, okay? We are in a severe battle right now. And we have got to be praying more than just once a week. I'm sorry.
Everybody's got to be daily masters.
I'm not saying that they have to be daily masses, but I'm saying everybody should pray every day.
I think that's what you're saying. I think daily mass is the only way.
Well, let's go to number 22. Let's go to number 22 because I'm not the only person unhappy, and this is why he was mentioned in a tweet on Thursday or Friday.
Thursday.
But how can you say that thousands of children were raped, but I'm not going to find out who raped them?
Yeah.
How can you say that?
I agree completely.
They said that. By the way, when Pam Bondi went on television and said, I have a videotape of kids getting abused, I followed this case closely, and I know a lot of the people involved, as I've told you.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I didn't know that. Really? Thousands of children got raped?
Yeah.
Who raped them? Where are the rapists? Like, why aren't they in jail? What? This is the Department of Justice.
Yes.
That is so crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I just think it's very dangerous to play around with this stuff. Like, very dangerous.
Well,
I don't want a revolution, but if you wanted a revolution, this is how you would act.
Yes.
If you want a revolution, Coach, you even mentioned a revolution.
I mentioned the revolution last Wednesday. I said we need to have a revolution. We cannot have a satanic cult, running Washington, D.C. anymore. We just can't.
No, I agree.
We have the most disgusting people in Congress, right? That they wouldn't pass some bill where they would get exposed for using taxpayer money to pay off the people that they sexually assault, right? You know, we have the Epstein files where you have doctors being involved, CEOs being involved, actors being involved, magicians being involved. All these people are being involved in unspeakable crimes, using and abusing women, using and abusing children, and not one arrest.
Yeah, they bury it.
Right? It's just getting sewn into the fabric of our nation to be as evil as we want, as long as we got the money, 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 money. Right? That's Trump's theme song. Money, 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 money. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
And there's a part of me, because I was listening to this Chinese professor. Have you ever watched, there's a Chinese professor on YouTube, and he loves to do wargaming, right? And he said Trump, being the stupidest president ever, might end up being the smartest president ever, because he's going to ruin Iran, ruin the Strait of Hormuz. No oil is going to be able to go through there. And guess what? It'll make us rich. Because now everybody's going to have to go to the United States to get oil. So maybe that's Trump's plan.
Right, because the Middle East is so distraught and blown up.
How else are they going to get energy?
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, like you go to the same store all the time. They don't have what you need. You got to change your supplier. You got to change where you're buying from.
Yeah, maybe that is what he's doing. He's just going to make the Middle East so unusable that they're going to have to buy from us.
Exactly. And then what happens? Trump will be like, I'm the greatest president ever because I ended up getting so much money for this country because all our oil is going to be coming. Everybody's going to get their oil from the United States now because that's the only thing that matters to him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care who's being hurt in this process.
Yeah.
But let's look at Trump because let him answer for some of the things that he's done. Let's go to clip number 23.
23. All right, let's do it.
Robert Barron supports you and your policies. He praises you for defending religious freedom.
Yeah.
He now says you owe Pope Leo an apology. Will you apologize?
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime and other things. So I'm not. I mean, he went public. I'm just responding to Pope Leo, and his brother is a big MAGA person, and he's a great guy, Louis. And I said I like Louis better than I like the Pope. No, you have to have law and order in our country, and that's what we have now. We have the lowest crime numbers we've had in a long time, despite the fact that many criminals were allowed into our country, but we've gotten a lot of them out. We've done a great job on crime. So we have the lowest murder rate in 125 years, since 1900, the lowest murder rate. So we believe strongly in law and order, and he seemed to have a problem with that, so there's nothing to apologize for. He's wrong.
Pope Leo, coach. Wrong.
Do you think Pope Leo's wrong?
No, I think Pope Leo's right. But I think Pope Leo is looking at it from a Catholic perspective.
Right,
I think he's looking at it from a Catholic perspective and not a foreign policy perspective. And there's a difference there. And Pope Leo even said that. He's like, I'm not a foreign policy politician. I'm the leader of the Catholic Church, and I'm giving my Catholic perspective on it, which is what he did. And he has every right to do because he's the leader of the Catholic Church. Now, I have said in the past that I think that there is that separation of church and state, and I think that the Pope using his influence to influence foreign policy is wrong, because I've said that. And I also think that him using his influence to decide what a country's immigration policy is wrong too. And I'm sure we're going to show the clip of the Cardinals saying that they're against the whole mass deportation thing, which is something that Trump said that he was going to do, and then he did. So, I mean, listen, I think that the Catholic Church has to decide, are they going to be involved in how countries run their show, or are they not? Because right now they're being very outspoken on how countries are doing things. And I think the church has to figure out how they want to go, in that, what direction they want to go. Is that something they want to continue to do, or do they just want to stay to themselves and handle the church's problems? Because right now they're being very outspoken on the fact that we have closed borders. They want us to have open borders and open immigration.
That's not true.
And they're against mass deportation.
That's not true, because one of the Cardinals was there, and he said that he was in San Diego, and he even thought it was getting out of control with Joe Biden being president.
Right, but then he followed up with that with, you can't deport people that were already here. That's what he said.
He said people who have been here for many, many years, who have raised their families here. And I have to agree with that. I think if you've been here 20 years and you've been paying taxes, and this is why I kept saying, even from the beginning, I said we have to have people meet in the middle, where we all agree. We get rid of the bad hombres. We get rid of a lot of the fighting age males who don't have any families here. But we say, okay, if you've been in the United States for 10, 20 years and you've been a law-abiding citizen and a contributing member to society, we have to make exceptions and figure out how to make it work for everybody. And that if the Democrats were doing their jobs, they would come to the middle and say, let's meet in the middle and let's make it work. But what I have come to understand now is that it is not two different parties. It is one party. It's a uniparty. And they need the chaos and the confusion. They need the problems. They can't work together because they're the same people. And they say, you're going to take these issues, you're going to take these issues, and we're going to trick the American people into thinking that we're really two parties when really we're one party. And we only work for one thing, our own best interests. And that's why there's so many corrupt people in our government right now. And I'm sorry, but I feel like we do need to bring a little Jesus into our government because we are so corrupt. And when you have a satanic cult running DC, where people are doing human sacrifice and all kinds of other evil things, there is only one thing to battle that, and that is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Well, then you can't have separation of church and state.
Well, apparently we don't have a separation of church and state because we have the satanic cult running DC right now. So if we didn't have a satanic cult running DC right now, I'd say, oh, well, it's a separation of church and state. But apparently it's not. Because when you read the Epstein files and you see the evil shit that they're doing, including the man having a temple on his private island for Satan, guess what? There isn't a separation of church and state right now in this country. There isn't. We have a satanic cult running DC.
Well, then why don't we just have the Pope run things then?
I'm not saying we should have the Pope run things. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you need to stop and you need to say, you know what? I got to do the right thing. I'm not saying that the Pope should run the country, but sometimes you have to say, maybe I do need to look at things from a biblical perspective. But I'll tell you one thing. I know Trump got a lot of blowback today because he did something that normally he never does.
What, retract?
Yes.
Yeah.
You should play the clip.
He did. He retracted
the clip of number 24 where he pulled the picture off. He took it off.
He gave an explanation of what he
Well, look, wait till you hear it. He apologized. Yeah, right.
Did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better.
How could anyone come up with that?
Show the picture again.
Show the picture again, and be like, how could anyone come up with that? How? Like, that's impossible. He clearly looks like a doctor in this picture.
Yeah, that clearly looks like a doctor.
Oh my gosh, how could, let me get my glasses. That's it.
Totally a doctor.
And instead of having a stethoscope, he has a light coming out of his hands. Oh, and he's touching his forehead, and it looks like some kind of magical power. Mm-hmm. And look at the person next to him praying.
Yep.
Oh.
With the prayer hands.
That's
crazy to try to come out and be like, oh, that's me as a doctor. Like, come on, man. Like, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? But there are people out there that he does. There are people out there that are like, yeah, that was him as a doctor. Like, straight up. They're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He's a doctor in that photo. Like, they actually are out there. I couldn't believe some of the tweets that I was reading today from the MAGA group.
Yeah.
Like, justifying
they're awful.
It's nuts.
TDS type B.
Yeah, like, it's some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen that people just straight up are like, yeah, that's what he's doing. He's a doctor. What do you mean? Like, what?
They were like, clearly you can tell he was a doctor.
Yeah. It's like right in front of your face. Well, you're like, what are you looking at? I don't get it, but that's just how I guess some people are. They are just so sure that, what he says goes. Like Jesus Christ.
Well, Trump
that's what he says.
Has been lying a lot. And I know people who still really support Trump. I honestly don't know how anybody could support this man right now. Yeah. Between all the lies,
I agree.
Going back on so many of his campaign promises. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the Pope is right. When you see innocent people just getting killed in Lebanon,
yeah,
what does Lebanon have to do? I mean, it's like I really feel like Trump is possessed. I really do. And I also feel like he's so insulated that he really has no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. I think that they used the assassination attempt on him to say, we really need to keep you in a tight bubble for your own safety, because that's what they always use, right? It's for your safety. Mm-hmm. We need to do this for your safety. Like, that's always the number one BS story.
Yeah.
So, just like everybody had to take the jab for their safety, right? Everybody had to stay inside for their safety. You couldn't go visit your family for your safety, for their safety. It's for safety, Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they're telling Trump, for your safety, we need to keep your circle so tight, and he is completely clueless as to what is going on right now. I honestly believe that.
I mean, it's hard. I don't understand how you could be. I really don't. I don't understand how you could be clueless, because I don't know many people that are for the continuation of this war. I don't know many people that are all on board with killing off the Iranians.
Carlos, when you lie to yourself, right? When you lie all the time, I really believe you start to trick your brain into believing that the lies are true. Mm-hmm. So I really believe that when Trump said, you remember years ago when he said, I could walk down Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any of my supporters?
Yeah.
I really think that Trump put himself into some kind of trance where he feels that he's above the law. Mm-hmm. He could lie to people and he would never lose any of his supporters. He could be a pedophile protector, but he wouldn't lose any of his supporters. He could renege on a promise not to go into a foreign war with Iran, and he could, go and renege that on all his supporters. I really believe that he has also brainwashed himself, and he's just lost his mind. Now with Melania, is the situation with Melania, is it one out of love? And is it out of justice, that she wants justice? Is she like, pedophiles are vile, they need to be on trial? Or do you think it's because she's trying to do a little cover your ass?
Well, based on some of the things that I've seen online, it seems like it's a little bit of cover your ass, honestly. Let's pull up those tweets that came out. Yeah, these are interesting right here. So these tweets came out at the First Lady.
You have to read them.
Yep, Amanda Ungaro starts tweeting out towards FLOTUS, right? And this is right after her speech.
No, it was before the day.
Oh, this is before the speech.
That's what I heard.
April 9th. I thought, isn't that Thursday, April 9th?
Yeah, so
maybe
it was after or before.
Yeah, but anyway, so she tweets out at the First Lady and goes, I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. Right? 20,000 people see this tweet. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are and who your husband is. 25,000 people start to see that. I will take legal action against you and your pedophile husband. I have known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained by ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending the Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in 2016. Something was clearly wrong, but I am not part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. Do you know what I think about you after 20 years? Question mark, question mark. Interesting, Coach. Getting fired up.
Well, and apparently she was good friends with Melania's parents.
Right. Yep. Good friends with the parents.
And she was married to the person that introduced Donald Trump to Melania.
She was friends with that person?
Married to that person.
Married to that person.
Her husband was the one who introduced Trump to Melania. Her husband was the one who
So that's pretty close. Yeah, you're pretty close at that point.
Yeah, so then when they got a divorce, they literally, because the guy worked with Pam Bondi, they had ICE detain her and they shipped her ass back over to Brazil. How evil is that?
That is pretty bad.
And then kept custody of the son here in the United States. So
which, I mean, I can't believe that. I mean, even thinking about it from a bad person's perspective, why would you get rid of that person and try to send them all? They're obviously gonna come after you. Honestly, they're obviously gonna come after you if you try to ship them away. That's a crazy move.
it is really like, and there are a ton of pictures of those people together.
Right.
Like there are a lot of pictures of them together. And
so, I mean, so maybe she was trying to get ahead of it.
yeah, so maybe it wasn't all like, oh, I really care about the victims of Epstein and I care about justice. It might have been a little bit of, I'm going to cover my ass.
Yeah. Well, I am curious to see, right? Because she called upon Congress to bring in all the victims, have them all come in and each individually tell their story and testify under oath. So Congress is back in session today. I'm curious to see if anything comes of this. Will Thomas Massey call them all in?
They were busy getting rid of Eric Swalwell today.
Yes, they were getting rid of Eric Swalwell.
There was another pervert they had to get rid of.
Exactly. Well, it'll be interesting to see, right? Because I don't think Trump had any idea that she was gonna give that speech.
He had done. He said so.
He had that giant freak out at Candace Owens 20 minutes after his wife spoke on national television.
He lost it. Like, he was like, it triggered him.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking the reason why he attacked the Pope is because he saw 60 Minutes and it triggered him.
Yeah.
Like, I think these are things that are triggering him, and that makes me very concerned because he does have nuclear weapons and access to them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's going to drop a nuclear bomb
I had
on
a nightmare.
Iran. I'm not sure.
I had a nightmare. The day they went to war, I was in Atlanta with my friend Natasha. We were going to the acting seminar, and so we're there for the seminar, and I'll never forget, I had a horrible nightmare that the alarm started to go off in the hotel. And I was like, Natasha, we gotta go. And we're like running, right? Because we hear this alarm, and we get outside and we see like everything just go like a nuclear bomb. But we weren't affected because, you know, it's a dream. It's like one of those weird things. So we see the results of a nuclear bomb being dropped. But, and I just remember waking up terrified. And I was like looking, and I was like, oh, you know, like, is this, you know, and then I realized it was a dream. And I'm like, I haven't had a dream about an atomic bomb since I was a little kid. Like, and for the first day to be at war, to have that horrible nightmare, I got to tell you, I'm not the only person who has a lot of concerns about a nuclear weapon being used on Iran. And I think that this whole, what is it? It's not an embargo, it's a blockade.
A naval blockade, on the Strait.
This whole blockade, I have a feeling, is not going to be that good for the world. I really don't. I don't think that this is a good thing for the world right now.
Yeah.
And you know, right now in Ireland, they are protesting.
Yeah, this Ireland story is pretty interesting because I remember you bringing it up last week, and it was just kind of like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about it another time, and it's becoming such a big story.
Well, because it's nationwide fuel protests and blockades, and it started last Tuesday, right? And it's primarily organized by farmers, haulers, agricultural contracts, and transport workers. So what happened was that they started blocking the road, right?
Right, with the tractors.
Yeah. So then they send the police to go and like drag them out of the trucks. The people of Ireland lost it. Like, rather than them just sitting back and be like, too bad for them truckers, they were like, what? And they ran on the street, and like all the Irish people like were protesting peacefully. But the majority of the Irish people were all out, not sitting on their butts at home. They were all out in the streets protesting and being like, no, you are not going to mistreat. And, you know, it gets out of control. Well, not out of control, like it was peaceful, but there were so many of them that the police start calling in. And the police said, I'm not going to show up for work to go and arrest my neighbor.
Brother.
Yeah, they were like, no.
Yeah.
So.
It is getting intense.
So I saw today a post with Conor McGregor.
Yes.
And I want to play
Legend.
it. It's post number 33, ironically enough, Jesus' number.
Jesus' number.
Or the Illuminati's number, depending if you listen to Candace Owens.
Well, this is interesting. And Conor McGregor, I believe, was running for office for Ireland. Like, he's a very prominent figure. If those UFC fans know Conor McGregor. And like he's a big deal. And he's fired up too. Let's take a listen.
And we, as the mighty Republic, hold all the aces. Ireland, we are another major step closer to the return of fairness, fair cost of living, fair treatment, fair taxes, and a fair opportunity for your voice to be heard. That is what we deserve as a people, and that is what is coming. We await the vote that will bring down this failed government that no longer represents us. Ireland, for the future of our country, for our children, we must stand together in unity and complete this tackle. Éire Abu. I love you with all my heart, every single one of you. God bless Ireland. Up the Republic.
Woo! You know what I hear in the background of my head? What? I hear the music from what was that movie that Martin Scorsese did about the Irish gang? Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York.
Yeah, like
Gangs
I hear that song from Gangs of New York, from the Lower East Side, baby, because that's where I'm from. And my people were all from the lower.
Yeah.
Right? So I hear like that music and I'm like, he's exactly right. The Republic of Ireland. Mm-hmm. Guess what, people? We live in a republic too.
Yep.
So imagine if only 20 million, like not even, half the country, if only 10%, less than 10% of the country showed up at DC and said, we're done. We're done. All you perverts out of Washington. All you satanic worshipers out of Washington, all you people covering for the assassination of Charlie Kirk, for all the dead people who have been killed by, either the CIA or... No, we're done with the demonic cult.
Right.
And we want to go back to our roots where it is a Christian country. Let's be honest. Because that's what a republic is. Yeah. A republic is about the people governing for the people, by the people. That's why you don't get to just sit back and do nothing. When you're an American, you have a responsibility as an American to be involved because it's for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
You can't just sit back.
You do have a responsibility, and all Americans, everybody should be, like I said, everybody's got to come together and get out there and let them know, right? Because you're right. Like if Trump's living in this bubble, then everybody's so happy with how things are going on. We're clearly not doing enough, right? We're clearly not doing enough because he's he's listening to Mark Levin every night, give him a blowjob on air, and he's not actually ready to go. And here, the American people being like, dude, we're paying $4.30 a gallon. Like we're not happy. We need to get rid of APAC. Absolutely agree. 100%.
Foreign money in our government. We have another country telling us how we're going to run things.
Absolutely, we need to get rid of APAC. 100%. He's a sociopath. The American people put him in office. It's crazy. Well, like we've said before, right? It was always promises made, promises kept. Mm-hmm. Well, the promises were made, and none of them have been kept, right? We're paying a ton of money in gas prices. We're in foreign wars. We're protected pedophiles. Promises made, but promises have not been kept. So what is it time for? It's time for people to get upset and get out there and let him know that you're upset. We have to let him know. And we're not trying to entice violence and riots and stuff. Just go out there and protest the way we did in Washington, D.C. Get out there with a big bullhorn. You can get it on Amazon, ship it to your house, 2-day shipping. Get out there and let them know that, hey, what's up? Like, we're unhappy. We are unhappy. And the No Kings riot.
Everybody knows it's fake.
It's such crap. It's such crap. I'm sorry. The No Kings is garbage. You have to go out there and actually protest and be like, how about you arrest somebody for raping children? Mm-hmm. How about you arrest somebody for moving humans in and out of the country and moving around? Which, speaking about moving humans around, they're selling slaves in the Congo, like out and about, selling slaves, and you would have no idea.
No.
They are out like selling slaves on the like they're on Tatooine in Star Wars. They're selling slaves, and it's like, oh, who cares? We're not going to talk about that today. Like, I mean, what is going on in this world that people are getting sold? Like, we're moving back in time. Like, let's go, people.
Carlos,
wake up.
It never ended. And that's one thing that my priest at church has said. He goes, the evil has always been there. It didn't just start.
Yep.
But the thing is that I feel that there was more intolerance for such evil to be right in our faces.
That's true.
And the thing is that as we allow more and more evil to be right in our face and we sit back and don't do anything about it and don't say, hey, now you've crossed the line, guess what? They're going to say, okay, now I can push the goalpost a little further. Now I could be even more disgusting. I can keep, and the deterioration of our society, it just starts to snowball. And the thing is that the one thing that all of us can do, we could all go to church and pray. Because if we're going to church and leading a holy life, I'm telling you, the lies are going to be a lot less affected. And the people to me who were still brainwashed, they are not praying and living the gospel the right way.
Well, I will say, though, you have to do something else other than pray, though.
I think you should go to church
and just be like, we're going to pray it out. Like, we gotta go out and be like, this is some bullshit, and tell them to their face that it's some bullshit.
Why do you think a Catholic country is going to be the first one to get out from under the thumb of the globalists? I don't think that's an accident. And I also think that's why Donald Trump is attacking the Catholic Church, because Ireland is a Catholic country. And I know they're all receiving the body of Christ, because that's why you go to Mass, is to receive the body of Christ. Okay? It is the most important thing. That is the new and everlasting covenant.
Yes.
Is the body of Christ. So you go to church, you're getting the body of Christ, you're praying, and then when you start to see your brethren getting pulled out of their tractors, you say, oh no! And everybody left their houses. They said everybody left and went into the streets. That's what scares the government. So if we're all praying...
It definitely gets it on the radar. I agree with you. It does get you're on the radar of the government when everybody leaves their house and tries to pick a fight. Trump says nothing about the IDF demolition on Christian churches in Lebanon. I mean, yeah, I agree. And we've talked about it on the show a couple of times, that Christians constantly being killed in all parts of the world. I mean, Christians have been getting slaughtered in the Middle East.
Look at Nigeria, number 30.
Yeah, absolutely.
Show number 30.
Yeah.
That really, just... And all I could think of was my favorite priest.
Oh man, Father.
Yeah,
boy.
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Nigerian people are so loving.
I know, getting slaughtered because of their faith. Getting slaughtered because of their faith. And there's no just outrage. There's no nobody cares. Like it's a complete swipe under the rug. Like it's a complete swipe under the rug.
It's awful.
So it's just, at some point, you have to go out and get out of your comfort zone and tell people, what is going on in this country is not right. At some point, that has to happen. Whether it's like us doing a show once a week, or whether it's you going out every weekend and getting in front of buildings and start, letting people know. Like, you have to start getting involved and doing something, because, you can't keep laying down and showing your belly and just, tossing your hands up in the air and being like, it is what it is. Nothing's going to ever change. You have to get involved at some point. You really do. You have to get involved, and you have to be like, we're all Americans. It's time to, rise up and put America first.
All right. I'm going to say something controversial. But I'll tell you. The Revolutionary War, right? Only 10 to 14 people, actually 14%, not 14 people, 10 to 14% of the country actually fought in that war, right?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, how many of those people were Dutch, right? Because it was all different backgrounds, okay?
Absolutely.
That is the American spirit.
Yeah.
And one thing that makes immigration important, and why we have to make sure that we have the right people who are coming into this country, they have to have the American spirit too.
That is true.
Because if they're fleeing from communism and fleeing from governments where they're so used to being oppressed, they are going to be too frightened to step up and say, we need to fight to live in this great republic. It's a republic. And that's why the people have a responsibility to be involved and know what is going on. Yeah. You don't get to just sit back and do nothing, because then you get an evil government and you get everything you deserve. And I'm sorry, but I have the American spirit. I love this country, but I'll tell you something, Donald Trump, I love my God more. I love Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, more. And I love the Catholic Church. That I am a Catholic first, an American citizen second. And I know some people might say, oh, I don't know about that. Well, That's how it is for me, because I can't live without the body of Christ. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I would be so miserable. I just, if I could never go to Mass again and get on my knees and be in front of the Lord, our Savior, while I'm here on earth, I don't know. I would be so miserable. I would.
Yeah,
I
I
need
agree.
that. I need that.
And you should have it. And you know, it is so important, like you said, you have to channel the American spirit, right? And that is so big. And I see Natasha, the American spirit's under attack. I mean, we have to get back to being proud Americans and realizing what this country's all about, what this country was built on, and get back to doing that. We can't go down these avenues, and I do think like there's such a built-up divide, and we talk about it all the time, from the media and from the education system and from, you know, all these different propaganda machines, whether you're on MAGA or whether you're on the liberals and socialists, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And they push out all these different things to divide us and bury that American spirit into the ground.
Show number 12.
100%.
It's global. It's global. It's a recipe that they use. Number 12.
And now trying to distract us now and again divide us and going with their stupid buzzwords and their labels and their far left and far right this. And you know what? Forget about it. Because that's their plan. That's all done by design, all these stupid labels. I never got into it. Because it even comes down to this colour of your skin, to religion, all these things. It's all done by design, and it's to divide the people. Because you're so much easier to control when everyone's divided. And in the last 7 days, we can see that clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it clearly in Ireland. They come together, and now there's unrest, and now they want change, and they're probably going to get it. They're probably going to get that change, because if the farmers stop putting out food and feed that country, you have no choice. Something's got to change, and there has to be action, and there has to be getting back to the way, you know, things are supposed to be, and getting back to what is fundamentally right. And going back to that American spirit, like, you have to get back to that. We have to.
Well, Ireland is showing the whole world how to do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Give
do
them a
it with
blueprint.
violence. You block the roads. You say, we're at a standstill now because what's going on is not right.
Right.
And then what the people do, not like Canada, because remember when they had the truckers protests in Canada, and then they froze all their bank accounts, and then, you know, they had to go.
Yeah.
It was over. It was over. It was disgusting. But if all the Canadians would have ran out onto the streets and said, you're not doing that to our truckers, guess what? Things would have been different.
Right.
But you cannot just sit back when you live in a republic and let these evil, demonic people take over the American spirit and beat us down and divide us and make us fight with each other, rather than come together and say, wait a minute, you're not the problem. I'm not the problem. You know what? We were falling for their tricks. You know who the real problem is? The people who are stealing all our money. The people who are taking our money and indoctrinating our children.
Yeah.
The people who are taking our money and giving it to the military-industrial complex and then blowing up people on the other side of the world and making enemies for the next generation. That's the problem.
Right.
And it's time that we start doing something. We can't just sit back and take it anymore.
Yeah, we really can't. We really can't, guys. Honestly, we really can't. And we have to decide what direction we want to go in as a country quickly. Like, we can't all like sit on our thumbs and wait for somebody to make the first move either. Like, we gotta get on a horse now, because, you know, if you end up being right and we drop a nuclear weapon for the first time in forever on a country, like, it's going to get really bad. It's going to get really bad. Other people are going to get involved, and then all of a sudden we're going to have World War III. So we got to get on the horse like now. We can't just wait for the big bomb to drop and then be like, oh, all right, I guess we'll give a shit now that we dropped a big bomb, and it's too late because now there's more bombs coming at us. We have to get on the horse now and be like, all right, like, what are we doing? Because, you know, what's happening right now isn't working for me. Like,
and we need an honest media.
We need an honest media, is right. We need an honest media is right, because listen, we appreciate all you guys watching and hanging out with us, but we're not reaching the same market as CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or News Nation. Like, we're not reaching that audience. We're not. We're trying, but we have to get on our horse together and go and be like, listen, like, you got to figure it out. You have to figure it out and hold people accountable on both sides. You can't just be on Fox News and hold Chuck Schumer accountable, or you can't be on CNN and hold Trump accountable. It's got to be like, we got to come together and be like, listen, this isn't working for any of us. It's time to get moving in a different direction.
And we have to stop fighting with each other.
Yes.
We have to have an overwhelming amount of love come into our hearts and say, I'm not going to fight with my neighbor over something stupid. They're not the problem. We have to show this video of this man pushing the girl.
Okay, let's show it.
Because this really upset me, because there's no reason why, again, the moral fabric of our society going down the drain, where a man just
Can lay this woman out.
Yeah.
You fucking touch her! Guys, it's over! It's over! Back the fuck up! It's over! It's documented, so get charged! It's over! Fucking kid again! Buddy, come on. Dude, we love you! We love you! We love you!
Imagine if we started now, when you see somebody acting crazy, not pulling out a gun, not hitting them over the head, just saying, we love you, we love you. What if we started talking to when people start to get out of control, because that man was out of control, he's a lunatic, he just pushed the woman. If we started telling each other, we love you, we love you, I think things might start to escalate down. And maybe people might get snapped out of the spell that they're under of hate and say, what am I doing? I'm sure he went home and was probably like, what the hell did I do today? It's like people are put under a spell and they're behaving so erratically. We have to start loving each other. And that guy was with the guy who pushed that woman, okay? They were on the same side, but did he let him pummel that lady? No, he stopped him from pummeling that lady. He was like, it's over. It's over. That's what we have to start doing now. When we see somebody who's our friend, who is on our side, starting to become out of control, stop. We love you, stop. We have to start doing that. And we have to start focusing on the real problem. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, obviously you want to try to love everybody.
We have to try. That's what Jesus tells us to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, you want to love everybody. I agree.
If we start loving, if the people who have good relationships with Jesus really start going around and showing other people that we can have an overwhelming amount of love for them, maybe it'll start to catch like wildfire.
All comes back to God.
He's the reason for everything.
All comes back to God.
He is. He died on the cross for us. He did everything. Yesterday was divine mercy. He forgives us all our sins.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
It was divine mercy. And Sunday, and that's, what did I say? When we walked from Congress to the DOJ, we did the Divine Mercy Chaplet.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that chaplet until my priest told me about it. Because one day in confession, he said, go do a Divine Mercy Chaplet. I was like,
what are you talking about?
I'm like, I never even heard of that. So I went and I was like, okay, let me do some research. And I bought it. And I'm like, oh, it's a rosary, but you just do the prayer of the Divine Mercy Chaplet.
Fair enough.
And I have to say, when I pray for the country, it's for the sake of a sorrowful passion. Have mercy on us and on the whole world.
I thought that was in the...
That's in the Prayers for America, but that's the Divine Mercy Chaplet. That's the prayer.
Really?
In the
so
Prayers
that
for
was
America.
like, what priest told you about that? That was a long time ago.
That was Father Craig.
Father Craig? No, well, you
He
got the
was
Prayers
the
for
one.
America book earlier than that, didn't
No,
you?
I got it here in Pensacola.
Oh, okay.
But it was Father Craig when we first moved here. We're going to be here almost 5 years. 5 years goes fast.
Yeah, all right. I guess it was a lot. Yeah, because it was before second term Trump.
Yeah. It was during Joe Biden. And, I mean, listen, I'm not going to vote.
Tough look.
I'm not going to vote for Democrats where they have abortion on demand vans going around the DNC. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's a
doing
bad
that.
look. I agree with
And
that.
I'm sorry,
come
right
on
now, I feel like I can't vote Republican when the head of the Republican Party, all he does is lie,
Yeah.
all the politicians
true.
lie. So American people, we need to start coming together and being like, I think they kind of fooled us all. And really, it's one party and they're taking all the money. They're in Congress for 30 years and they have 25 million in the bank and we're still broke and we're struggling to pay our bills and our kids can't even buy a house and BlackRock and corporations are buying up all the real estate and soon they're not even going to have property. Wake up, people.
Yeah.
Wake up. And we need to have like a We the People party. And we, the people, need to start taking responsibility for our country and take it back, baby.
And take it back.
We need to take it back.
Coach, I mean, yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think we do need to take it back. I think that you're right. I think the two-party system is really a one-party system. Everybody's getting rich, and whether, you're doing things on each side that are getting everybody rich together, and it's time to be done. It's time to be done. I agree with you, though, because I can't get on board with the socialism is the way group. Like, I just can't. I refuse to get on that train. So, like, I can't go and vote Democrat and be like, I got to, vote Democrat now because Trump pissed me off so bad, because I can't, because then we'll be socialist. And that doesn't work. I hate to break it to you guys, but, like, if you could look at a map and point to me where communism works, please do, because I've yet to see it and anywhere. So until you can point to the map and say, look at how well communism works here, then you'll never get me. But,
Did you hear about Mondami?
No, what did he do?
He wants to open a government-run store. It's going to cost
talked
him,
about that forever.
No, they're putting it in. It's $30 million
For a month?
Probably,
a
right?
month?
But $30 million. I'm like, for $30 million, Mondami, just give everybody a check. It'll be a lot cheaper, and they could go buy their own groceries.
For the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the year.
I'm like, what sense does that make? That it's like, oh, we're going to make groceries affordable by spending $30 million on some government program. You're better off just giving it to the people.
Yeah, cutting a check.
I mean, there's like 10 million people in New York. You could give them all $1 million. I think that'd be fine. They'll figure out how to buy food if you gave them all $1 million.
And if they don't, whose fault is that?
And you get to keep 20 million.
Like, I mean, come on.
You give them $1 million each. You still get to keep 20 million.
Yeah.
It just, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
What do I say is a mental disorder?
Listen.
But I've changed my ways to a way of love, so I'm not going to name call anymore.
No,
but
we're not name calling. Honestly, we're not. Communism doesn't work. So if you're getting offended by me telling you that communism doesn't work and it's a stupid way to think, I'm sorry, but you'd be offended then, because I mean, it doesn't work. I hate to break it to you, but look at the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union fell. Look at the Chinese Communist Party. China's a dump, and you can only have one child, and everybody's living under the thumb. Like, it's terrible. It's a horrible place to live. I'm sorry. Communism does not work. It's proven fact that it doesn't work. It looks beautiful on paper. It's a wonderful picture on if you paint it, but it does not work. So I'm sorry if that offends you, but that's just the truth. It just doesn't work. But what I'm saying is that we have to, like you said, if it's a third party we need to create where we come together and find common ground and run on common ground between the two issues that you have, fantastic, let's do it. Like, we have to figure out another option, because both parties right now, both leaders of the two parties, it's so awful. It's so awful. And the American people deserve differently. We have to get back to the American spirit. Maybe we call it the American Spirit Party. Who knows? We have to do something, though, because it's not working. It's not working. It's not working for anybody. Whether you're MAGA and you're just, you're fed up with the lies that you were told to go vote for this person, or you're a Democrat and you just hate Trump forever. Like, it's just we have to come together and find common ground and run on common ground.
Well, like Cat Williams said.
And build this country back.
Cat Williams said there's God's side and the other side.
Yeah, like Cat Williams said that in one of his
honestly,
stand-ups?
No, he said it on, I think, the Shannon Sharp show.
Oh, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And the truth of the matter is he's 100% right. There's God's side and there's the other side.
Yeah.
And we need to start bringing God back, be on God's side, love our brothers, love our sisters, Start taking care of our society.
Yeah.
Don't answer society's problem with more government. I think it's a little ridiculous. Like, oh, you know what? We really need another social program.
Right.
Because the last one didn't work. So let's have another one. I mean, you know, let's stop stealing the American treasure.
Yeah.
And sending it to, you know, have $3, $4, $5 million bombs fall on innocent people's heads.
100%.
And let's start reinvesting that money back into our communities.
Yeah.
And if somebody needs help, I say we help them. And we're not going to let people go hungry in our country. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Not under my watch.
Well, and I think that all comes down to as well, and we've said this a million times, and I continue to say it. Try to volunteer, guys. Try to volunteer. Like that gives you so much perspective in itself is volunteering. Try to volunteer. Get out and see what's actually going on around you and help people because it does give you a lot of perspective. It really does. It really gives you a lot of perspective. So get out and try to volunteer. It really makes a world of difference. But I know we've had a little bit longer of a show. Coach, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about on your emergency show?
No, I just, you know, I had to just come on because what Trump did today was despicable.
Yeah, the picture of him as Jesus Christ
and
is awful.
It made me cry and it made me really upset. And I was like, I can't believe I ever supported this man. And, you know, in your defense, promises made, promises not kept. And that's the truth. And you had another party that had abortion right at their convention and wanted open borders and allow anybody and anyone through. And she said
she was going to have a war with Iran. Exactly. She said, we're going to go and fight Iran. Iran's our biggest problem.
And I was like, no foreign wars.
And it's like, you know, then you have the other side that's telling you we're not going to have foreign wars. We're going to protect American citizens number one.
We're going to release the Epstein list.
We're going to release the Epstein list.
We're going to drain the swamp.
We're going to drill our own oil, be energy independent, right? All these things that was supposed to happen, and it just isn't happening. So it's okay to be like, you know what? I was lied to, and I'm not seeing the result of my vote, and I'm upset, and now I'm going to complain about it. You have every right to do that as an American citizen. So, like, that's what's happening. We're just upset about what is taking place. So, yeah, Trump, you got to figure it out, dude. And let me tell you something else. You MAGA supporters that just can't seem to wake up, you are such a problem. You're such a problem. For real. You are such a problem. Mark Levin, I'm talking to you, dude. You are such a problem.
He's part of the people brainwashing Trump. Like, and this said Miriam Adelson.
Yeah.
That's another person brainwashing Trump because it's money, 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 money.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. But it's just like, you know, it's so funny. Just this time, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, we're talking about how the Republicans were getting censored and all this stuff. And now Republicans are censoring other Republicans. Yeah. They're eating each other alive because you had a difference of opinion because you're not walking the corporate line.
Yeah.
Like, it is just so frustrating. But like we said, get back to the American spirit, get back to finding common ground, love your neighbor, and let's, you know, fight this. Let's come together and fight this the way Ireland is doing. It's time to wake up, America. It's time to wake up.
Where we
Let's
love
do
our
it together.
country more than we hate each other.
Exactly. America 250. Let's you know, change the narrative. That'll be the 250.
So
Let's change the narrative.
Like, imagine if we have another revolution for the 250th where
we don't want a war.
We have a third, no, not a revolutionary war. I'm saying a revolution where, like what the Irish are doing, where we clean house in Congress, we bring in new people, we start having accountability, criminals go to jail, money isn't spent on just foreign wars, and the American people, we take our country back.
Yep. Well, I'm curious to see. Let's see what happens with Ireland as this week develops because it's only been, you know, getting more intense as it's gone by. So let's see what happens. Who knows?
Let us pray.
Let us pray. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into this emergency episode. If this is your first time, I saw Jazz, that's your first time. Thank you so much for finding our channel. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and share. Right? Share that out. If you're watching on Rumble, we're back Rumble Live. Thank you guys for tuning in on Rumble. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that follow button before you go. And make sure you follow all of our social media platforms. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday. We're back for a regular episode on Wednesday, unless you don't want to do Wednesday anymore.
No, of course we're going to do Wednesday.
Yeah, so we're back on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're watching on Eastern Time, we're back at 8 o'clock, another hour forward. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Thank you guys so much for everything, and we'll see you next time.